Hey, howdy, hey, awesome people of the internet. A naked Wolfman 407 dash here. Because it has been a particularly hot day and I'm just cooling down and all that. So yeah. Those of you that have been subscribed to me for a while will know that I usually do this during the hotter months and sometimes just do it because I can. But yeah, it's really only because I need to cool down. I'm not planning to expose myself or anything because I know the rules on YouTube. So yeah. Anyway, so originally my plan for today was to, and my thing keeps going off. Originally, the plan for today was to talk about the multiverse established in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, specifically the Turtles Forever film. But I decided, you know what, I'm not going to bother with that because even though I've seen a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle things, I haven't seen everything. And keep in mind, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is probably just as big, if not bigger or slightly smaller than Power Rangers, which has way too many shows and so forth. And this one, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you've got lots of shows, you've got lots of films, you've got lots of video games, you've got lots of books. Actually, I don't know about the video games, but definitely more on the other side. So I decided I'm not going to bother doing that, but if I do end up watching and seeing and so forth all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles things, which probably won't happen, but you never know, then I'll maybe do a vlog. So instead, I'm going to talk about Arthouse films, and I'm not going to do them Let's Talk style, in which I'm going to review every single one. No, I'm just going to give you 10 Arthouse films that I've seen and sort of recommend that you go see. Now, as anybody who has followed my videos for a while now will know that me and my good friend Clank Soka, we like art house films. They're films that we are very interested in, films that we do remember very well, probably remember more about them than we would with, say, big blockbuster films or franchise films, well, with some exceptions. So yeah, I'm going to give you 10 that I've liked. These are 10 that have come out, some that have come out recently and some have been around for a while. But I'm just going to give you 10 now and let you watch and give your own opinions for yourself. So let's go. So first up is Donnie Darko. Now this is probably one of the earliest films I saw. Now I have done a video of this previously as a sort of endings gone wrong video. And it's a film that stars a young Jake Gyllenhaal and a young Maggie Gyllenhaal. Jake Jake Gyllenhaal plays Donnie, the titular Donnie Darko, who is, I guess you could say, a strange boy who seems to keep seeing this image of a demonic bunny, a demonic person dressed as a demonic bunny of some kind, who basically keeps telling him that the world's going to end in a certain period of time, if things happen, and obviously things do happen. It's interesting. It's an interesting film because it kind of delves into the sort of A24 territory, despite it being a sort of precursor to A24 coming into existence. And I kind of like how dark and unsettling it is, and just on the basis that this is that one film that kind of made the two Gyllenhaal siblings household names, because they would then go on to have great success in their acting careers. But overall, I think Donnie Darko is a very dark and unsettling film, and definitely worth watching if you like the sort of films that kind of hint that there may be an apocalypse happening, but not so much. So yeah, check that one out. Obviously, many of us know that Stanley Kubrick is well known for his art house films, and probably well known for being a pioneer or the inventor of the art house genre, or type of film, I should say. And even though this is probably going to be a very controversial choice, there is A Clockwork Orange, and I'm just going to tell you now. One of my friends doesn't particularly like this film because of its depiction of rape scenes, and I'll be honest, I'm not keen on rape scenes either. However, the whole point of the film is to make sure is that this one guy goes through this process where he is sort of treated and sort of changed so that he kind of gets disgusted over the thought of raping someone, and that's kind of the whole point of the film, really. But other than that, it's got nice costumes, it's got good set design, set pieces, and everything, and it's kind of sort of like a sort of dystopian sort of future thing, in which these things happen. But yeah, obviously rape scenes are not exactly things that people particularly like seeing, regardless of whether you're actually acting or not. But it is the whole point of the film for this one guy to be educated into thinking that rape is bad and you shouldn't do it, and he's done it, and they do it in such a way that he gets tortured and so forth. So yeah. But anyway, that's A Clockwork Orange, and I think it's because of the rape scenes that's the reason why it's banned on TV, banned in cinemas, and basically is one of the few films from a well-known filmmaker to actually, not necessarily be banned in territories, but definitely was never released in cinemas, but did come out on. But it's the only way you'll be able to see it is on home media. So yeah. Now I talked about previously about the David Lynch film Mulholland Drive, so I'm not going to delve into too much of it here, but it's a film that I do find interesting because it's kind of sort of exploring the idea of an actor or actress trying to achieve their dreams and try and make it big in Hollywood, but then realize that Hollywood is a lie, and that's basically this the film summed up in a nutshell. With Naomi Watts as a character, and then this other actress who's playing this character that has amnesia, and they try and sort of help each other out and so forth. And even though David Lynch is no longer around anymore, this is kind of the one film of his I do particularly like because of how interesting it is. So yeah, that's that. So the very first film review I did, sorry, the very first Let's Talk video where I changed it to a review video was The Substance, and the reason I did that was because I just felt The Substance was just um too difficult for me to do a written review of on my blog. So I thought do it as a video and then see what happens because it is an experience. So you got Demi Moore playing this fitness instructor who is basically fired on her birthday, and she decides to take up this new drug that this inventor guy creates, and the drug basically creates a sort of younger alter ego of her, which which ends up taking the job that she had, and then things transpire. They try and sort of fight for control and everything, and we get this big giant monster in the end. Oops, spoilers. So yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a film that would probably start off as if it's a film that's going to be a chick flick, a typical chick flick film and all that. But actually, no, it's definitely far from that. It's a film that I remember sweating a lot when I saw it, um, and it's a film that is going to make you feel something. And usually, the best kinds of films for me are the films that do make you feel something, no matter how disgusting or over the top it is. And The Substance definitely made me feel something, and I'm really glad that it has been nominated for awards, both at the BAFTAs and the Oscars and all that. So yeah, well done, Demi Moore and the team on that. So after he was James Bond, Daniel Craig went on to do the Knives Out film, playing the sort of investigator guy, and he also did this A24 film. Although here in the UK it's not distributed in A24, but anyway, he did a film called Queer, and I still think to this day that Queer is a very ballsy name for a film. It's definitely going to be one of those names of a film that's going to be banned in most countries because lots of countries still don't accept people that are quote unquote different. By which I mean they don't accept people that have disabilities. They don't recognise some disabilities. They don't recognise LGBTQIA, etc. And all this other stuff. So yeah, it's definitely going to be banned in some countries. But if you do get the chance to be able to watch it, do watch it because it's kind of what you expect it to be. Daniel Craig playing this queer guy who comes across this other guy that he falls in love with, and the two go on various adventures and all sorts of stuff. And it plays this sort of score on occasion, and every time the score plays, it kind of gets closer and closer to being distorted to the point where by the end of the film it's so distorted that you can just about recognize it but not quite recognize it. So yeah, it's an interesting film, and if you're wondering how people cope when they are identified as queer or not queer at all, just something else, do check this out. So yeah. Now, Joaquin Phoenix is very well known as a character actor, and everybody used to love him playing the Joker until Joker Folia do ruined that. But if you want to see a film where he does portray a similar character that does have sort of mental breakdowns and so forth, check out Beau is Afraid. So this is quite a long A24 film. I think it's A24, yeah, where he plays Bo, this guy who has these very long blackouts, and every time he has a blackout, things transpire, things happen, and it gets to a point where his reality isn't necessarily reality anymore. It's kind of imagination and everything, and it has a lot of things going on. And there is, and although I thought it was a very well shot film, a very unintentionally funny film, it does have this one scene where it spends way too long on this one scene, and then by the time the scene ends, because it's a kind of a fantasy element with some animation thrown in, by the end of it, it just kind of feels pointless, and they don't talk about it again. But it's a very particularly interesting film, one that definitely is unintentionally funny, um, but and definitely one that's gonna leave people second guessing whether this is real or not. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Robert Eggers, another filmmaker that I do follow, and I've seen all of his films so far. He did a film called The Lighthouse. Now, The Lighthouse is interesting because some people don't really know what genre it kind of falls under. But to the best of my ability, when I saw it, I kind of see it as a sort of study into two people sort of turning insane because they're on this island with the lighthouse and have nothing else going for them. And it's basically William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson being as dramatic as you can get, because they're well known for being dramatic actors. And yeah, this is definitely a dramatic film where you definitely kind of try to sort of figure out what the hell is going on, and if you like films that go bonkers and crazy and everything, this is definitely a film that you should watch. So yeah. Now we all know about Nightmare on Elm Street, but now we come to a film that's kind of not really, that's kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street, but not quite. It's more of an art house Nightmare on Elm Street, if you prefer. And they even reference it in the film, and the film is Dream Scenario. So Nicolas Cage plays this family man who is also a lecturer, teacher, whatever at school, and at some point his sort of self becomes kind of is seen in everybody's dreams. And to begin with, he is pretty harmless. He just lets them carry on and all sorts and everything. But then, as time goes on, it then gets to a point where his dream self is starting to sort of be a bit more deadly, more monstrous and everything, and people start to fear him and all sorts of other stuff. But in actuality, he's not actually interfering in people's dreams. It's just this manifestation of an image of him, and yada yada yada. But yeah, if you want something that's like Nightmare on Elm Street but not Nightmare on Elm Street, check this one out. Wes Anderson, well known for his deadpan films and films that are shot in a very peculiar way. And I had a hard time picking one of his films because all of his films are very much as art house as you can get. But the one I picked because it actually one that I felt is the most interesting and does talk about a kind of sort of serious issue, Isle of Dogs. It's one of a few of his films that are stop motion, starring Bryan Cranston and others. And you got these groups of dogs who have been taken to this island because they've apparently got this sort of infection and so forth, and things transpire. And eventually it gets to a point where the dogs want to return to the mainland, but the government are like, nah. So yeah, if you want a very bizarre stop motion film, that's not Aardman. This is the one for you. So yeah. Now I'm gonna end this with a film that you might not think is really all that art house, but after googling it, I decided it's kind of sort of art house, but you can also say it's a black comedy as well. But anyway, The Menu. Now, with The Menu, it's got a few well known stars. So Anya Taylor Joy, Nicholas Hoult, and Rafe Fiennes, being the main lead. So Nicholas Hoult brings Anya Taylor Joy's character to this island where everybody's having a fine dining experience by this chef played by Rafe Fiennes. And because Anya Taylor Joy was not on the initial guest list, things start to transpire, things happen, and and you kind of realize that the chef only invited these people over with the intention of destroying their careers and wrecking everything that he can to them. Now, when this was advertised, some people initially assumed that this was going to be a full-on horror where the sort of human characters would be served on a platter and everything. But no, it's actually not that at all. There is actually a chef giving out real food, but there is a few moments where there are things that happen, like somebody's fingers get chopped off, one of the chefs gets brutally stabbed, and although it's kind of hinting towards this, most of the characters do die at the end of the film, I'm only going to say most, so I don't really spoil it for anybody. So yeah, but yeah, that's 10 art house films or art house like films that you should definitely check out and definitely give a watch, because you may be surprised with what you see. You may actually remember these films more than you actually remember big blockbuster and franchise films. So yeah. But yeah, that's films I recommend you go check out seeing. And obviously, if you've seen an art house film that you like to recommend, do leave your suggestions in the comments. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and the rest of it. And for those of you that want to see more of my videos, I do vlogs like this where I talk about various topics. Gameplay videos where it's straight up gameplay and nothing else but some memes thrown in for good measure. Let's play videos where camera on, mic on, and I play a game and add commentary, and random shorts as well. So that's what I'll do. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And remember, even though there are big films that are often coming out and are obviously going to be films that people will talk about more than anything else, do check out those small little art house films, because you may be surprised with what you see with them, because they may not win any awards. They may not do well at box office. No, sorry. They may win a lot of awards, and they may not do well at the box office, but do check them out and do give them a chance if they do get released in cinemas, because they are destined usually to not do well. But as long as you go and actually do give them a chance, you'll feel better for it, and the filmmakers that make them will forever be grateful. So yeah, all right, doodles.